Welcome to Real Talk for Women of Faith, brought to you by Inner City Women of Faith. I am your host. I'm Rosette McGarry Hawkins with
Nicole Rivas.
Hello, everyone. We are continuing our Black Love series, and today we are talking about life after abuse. So, ladies, if you know anyone or if you yourself have experienced or are experiencing any level of abuse in your relationship, tune in, listen in, and hopefully we are hoping that we can impart to you something that will be healing and give you hope and give you a sense of direction for the days to come. So we have Duania Hall with us again, and she is just a wonderful, wonderful testimony to what the Lord can do in our lives after abuse. Duania.
Yeah, can I pop in before you pop in, Duania? I just want to say to the ladies, this whole series we've been doing, it's been on abuse. But what has happened for me dramatically is I have never been in a relationship that I would define as abusive, but I am seeing so many pieces of me. Do you know what I mean? I'm seeing so many pieces of me. I'm seeing so many patterns, so many habits that if I had seen a button that says recovering from abusive relationship, I might pass it by or not click on it because I think it doesn't apply to me. But if you're a woman and you're like, oh, this isn't, please stay, because you're going to learn some things about yourself that you're going to be like, wow, I never saw it that way, or I never thought about it that way. So stay. This isn't just about someone else. This is about all of us, about us as women. So I promise you, you will be blessed. So go ahead, Dwayne. I just need to put that up at the front.
So I just want to quickly, you'll hear and see my story in this, but I just want to quickly do something with you guys that I do sometimes when I'm out speaking about abuse. The question always comes, kind of, how does a person become a victim of domestic violence? Well, for me, I became a victim while needing love and falling for the disguise of love, then being confused by what I really was entangled in. I later prayed for my abuser's intentions to be transformed to a noble agenda, bathing in his degrading language that made painful bubbles in my soul, yet they were pretty, so I played with them in conversations with myself. This further embedded negative thoughts about myself that were designed to shrink my self-esteem. And as my self-esteem shrank, I became someone who questioned herself in every way as my abuser's violent behavior escalated. Now, a lot just happened right there. Domestic violence is not just one thing or just one moment. It is a culmination of things that is reproduced through a cycle. And that is why so many women become victims and often don't even realize they are victims. And that is what happened to me in my situation. And then, as I was sharing with the ladies before, after my situation, and just going through so much on that journey, I had to come to a point to say out loud, I am not okay. I'm not okay. And even to further profess, I want to be okay. And part of that for me was getting going to therapy. That was suggested to me, and I didn't want to do it because, there's a lot of stigmas around therapy. And before COVID, like, now everybody's like, ooh, therapy. But before COVID, let's just be honest and be real. A lot of Black people and a lot of Black families be like, yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that. We just, sweep that under the rug, or, we have a lot of what happens in this house stays in this house, and type of mentality that we've grown up in. So you don't go get therapy, but that was suggested to me. And because I knew that I wasn't okay and I wanted and needed to be so bad, I was willing to try something that I never tried before. So I did go to therapy, but I was bounced around to a lot of different therapists, y'all. Like, I walked into one room and it was a guy, and he was a child therapist. And it was so funny because I walked in the room and I see all these little chairs, these little cushions and bean bags and Dr. Seuss books, and I'm just like, what is happening? And he doesn't say anything though. I'm thinking this is the wrong place. He doesn't say anything. And then he lets me go pour out my whole story, and he's looking like he just saw a horror movie. His eyes are really big, and he's like, "Oh, I think somebody else needs to help you." And I went through different experiences of that, you guys. I went to group theory. I went to different therapists, group or single, and people telling me, "Yeah, girl, that's too much. We can't help you." So this was really, really frustrating, and I wanted to quit at the point. I was like, what is happening here? I'm trying to try something different. I'm trying to help myself, and nobody wants to help me. But so I backed up and I got still. This was a truly be still moment, and just prayed to God. Like, what do I do? I know that I'm not okay. I want to be okay. I've tried this or that. What do I do? And I opened a phone book, and it landed right on Healing Hearts Counseling Center. And the particular therapist that I was connected with was definitely sent by God. God definitely made that connection. When you pray earnestly to God, and as he sees and reads our hearts, and he knows what we need, he will help you with every step. And that's what he did in that moment, because this woman that I end up seeing regularly for a while, she didn't just help me as a therapist, she also helped me in a way of spiritual healing. And that was very important for my journey. We did not just talk about the man who stabbed me and almost killed me. We didn't just talk about that. We talked about she made me dissect and analyze every relationship that I had been in. And that was life changing for me. I didn't want to do it. I didn't. I was like, why are you bringing up old stuff? I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get into that. Let's just deal with this. I'm here for this. This is what I came here for. But she's like, yeah, so do the sheet, fill it out. And it was really life changing for me to do that. And, like I said, before COVID, a lot of, and some people may still be there, but COVID has brought out a lot of mental health awareness, but that hasn't always been there. So many of us have gotten into different forms of trauma. Domestic violence is a form of trauma. We've gotten into different forms of trauma and not gotten the help that we needed to get to be whole women because of these stigmas. But I tell you that it was life-changing for me to be able to talk out loud about how I was not okay, and to be able to take steps to get to another side of healing.
Can I I have two questions specifically of what you just said. The first one that struck me was bookends of a journey. That's what's going through my head. Bookends of a journey. Because what kept you in part trapped in the abuse or in these patterns is shame, right? So not speaking. You know what I mean? Not putting it out there. And then you get to another part of your journey where shame will not stop you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to therapist after therapist, and a therapist is telling you your story is too much. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine that? So it is very natural when you're experiencing that to fold into that old shame bubble that kept you trapped before, but you had gotten to the point where you're like, shame is never holding me prison again.
No.
So you might look at me crazy, but I'm gonna find a way to be okay. And I'm just done.
Yeah. I was hungry for healing. That's what I would say. I was hungry for healing. That's a little different. It's not just like, I wish things were better. That's one thing. No, I was hungry for it. I feel like I I remember someone telling me, it was a man, once telling me, he said, every time you get knocked down by something, like life comes and knocks you down, but you just get back up and it just be looking like ain't nothing happened to you. You just keep going no matter what. And I feel like that's just the God in me. And there's just something where it's like, listen, if my journey was over, if my purpose had expired, God would have let me die in that situation. When that man tried stab me 22 times, God would have let me die. But the fact that he didn't kind of just birthed something inside of me that says, girl, go after your healing, whatever that means, even through the frustration. Because therapists, professionals being like, girl, you too much. I can't deal with all you got going on. That's frustrating. And that would have really just been it and shut some people down. But I feel like just being delivered out of that situation and surviving that, I know my purpose is not expired. So I am hungry for healing on a daily basis. And so I'm gonna keep going. And I'm gonna keep going because I need other women to keep going too, no matter what.
Amen. Amen.
There's something I think is I keep feeling like we need to we need to emphasize the we need to emphasize two things. One is that you went to God, you said you got still, and you said, okay, God, I need to be healed. I'm not okay. And so direct me. And I think that is really essential because a lot of times I've dealt with people in counseling, I'm sorry, who, not in counseling, who we suggested that they get counseling. And they're like, I know I'm not okay, but I don't want counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that what we want to do as women is when we will first start with God, Lord, help me. But then we don't say, God, help me, but I don't want to. God, help me, but I don't want to. Because that is a trick of the enemy also. So I've seen people, especially this past year, not this past year, because I was in the house the past year. I'm going to say a year or so, over a year ago, especially when I was doing a lot of chaplain work, where they would say, I know I'm not okay. I want help, but I don't want to try that. I don't want to do this. Well, I'm not crazy, so I don't want to go, and I think that we want to always start with God, ladies. We want to always start with him, right? Lord, like you did, Duania. Lord, I'm not okay. Help me. And then the next step is help me to receive whatever help you guide me to. Any help that you're guiding me to, Lord. Because like you said, Duania, God guided you to just the right counselor, somebody that helped you in ways that you didn't even realize you needed help in healing in, So I want to emphasize that, ladies, let's just go to the Lord, and Lord, I'm not okay. Guide me, and then open ourselves to be helped any way he helps us. And oftentimes those ways are very humbling because, maybe it's therapy. And if it is, yes, but maybe it's going to somebody saying, I'm not okay. And somebody that we know, and we don't want them to know I'm not okay because we don't want them in our business, or because we don't want to seem like the weak person, or like you said in the last show, Duania, we don't want to seem like we were wrong. Like I was wrong about this person. So, so just being open to the Lord guiding us to the right roads for help. Because that's the thing. God uses all kinds of ways to help us, and we have to be open. And just like God uses medical doctors, I mean, God, we all know, I think, that God uses medical doctors for our physical needs. Well, God uses people also for our mental and emotional needs. He uses people to heal those places.
Yeah. I think it would help if we changed the names, if we stopped calling them therapists and doctors and just called them all healers of the body and healers of the soul, and then pastors are healers of the spirit. they're all healers they're working on different aspects of,
Yeah.
of your person. But I want to ask you a specific question too. So the first one was just marveling at this. At one point in your life, shame kept you quiet. And another point in your life, you took shame hostage and said, oh no. And you just refused to let it stop you. And that's funny. Shame had you hostage.
Yeah.
And then you had shame hostage.
Yeah.
You flipped the script. You flipped the script. You were like, no. But the other thing I keep hearing therapy, and Marzette's making a really good point where she says you have to be willing to say, I'm not okay, right? And you've said that several times, that your victory came from you being able to say out loud, I'm not okay. And I want to say this and be as sensitive as possible. So anyone out there watching me, you don't know me, know that I have a heart of love. So please,
She does.
if I ask this wrong, show me a little grace. Because when you have something horrible happen to you, like someone stab you 22 times, right? You are a victim.
Yeah.
Because he stabbed you. But to walk into therapy and start owning some stuff of how you got to that point, that's a delicate balance, because something in you is going to be saying, well, if I own some of this, am I excusing that?
Right.
Am I saying that it was okay for him to do this? And I want to talk about that. Like, how do we walk that balance of owning our stuff without thinking that owning our stuff excuses someone else?
That's a really good question. And I do want to make it clear, walking into therapy or wherever you are seeking help and being able to own your stuff, that is not excusing anybody else. It is not. There's two sides of the coin. There's parts that are played, and someone trying to take my life, your life, is not okay. They didn't give it to you. Last I checked, God gave you that. So that is the only person. That's the only being that has the right to take your life. The one who gave it to you. That man did not give you life. So no, it doesn't excuse the fact that this person abused or stabbed me or anything like that. You're absolutely not excusing it. To be able to walk in and own, like I said, I didn't want to do the exercise looking at other relationships, because I was like, no, why don't you just get here? Because this is what I came here for. And a lot of people do have that response or that reaction to therapy, is I just want to talk about what I just told you I came in here for, just that one thing. And I will just tell you that up front. Therapy is never just that one thing. Just as I shared a little earlier in the show, where I broke down the cycle that I was in and how it's a culmination of things. It's not just one thing. So what you went through is not just that one moment of a person hitting you, or that one moment of them calling you out your name, or that one moment of them stabbing you, or whatever form the abuse comes in. Your situation is not just that one moment. It's a culmination of things. So you being able to own the different parts is helping you break down the different parts of how you got here, what happened to you, so that you can move forward and not go back through the same cycle, because now you're moving forward with understanding. You move through that whole other cycle with no understanding, with no vision of what was going on, of all the pieces that were piling up and forming this one moment. So now you're going to break it down and understand and acknowledge and own what you need to own, so that you can move forward the right way. And that's what it's about. All of it is about you being able to move forward the right way. It's all about you, baby. So you can move forward the right way and get your life.
Amen. I think that's just a good transition to our whole women affirmations, Joanne.
Yeah, so I want to say that for this whole woman affirmation that I created, we have talked about in different shows. I've been on different shows with these ladies in their Black Love series, and we started, this journey talking about, is he the one or the one to run from? So and then we've moved into abuse and trauma, all these different things that can be part of a relationship. Um, in a relationship, whether you are just dating or you're engaged or you've been married for a while, what I have experienced is coming to a point to realize that I've lost myself in a relationship. And a lot of women that I've spoken to, whether it's me helping them and in a coach capacity or me just having, drinks or something with a friend, sharing their stories with me about how they lost themselves in a relationship with the man, how they looked up and nothing was about them, nothing was for them, and they didn't feel good about themselves anymore, all these different things. And I thought about that and how that literally did happen to me in my last marriage, where I just looked up and said, where was I in all of this? And that's when I came to write this affirmation, because it is my prayer truly that no woman ever again will lose herself in a relationship. You should be able to remain a whole woman in any relationship. So that's just kind of the background of where this came from. And you see it's behind me, because I say it every day. I affirm myself, my wholeness every day. And that's what I want for each of you that are listening. So I'm actually going to take you through this affirmation that I say every day, and that has helped me, and pray that it blesses you. Nicole and Marzette are going to help me, because they're going to say it with me. And this is what you can be doing at home. And those of you that are listening, you can say it along with us. Or if you just want to take it in and just close your eyes and lift your hands and just receive it, that's all good too. Just take this moment right here. Take this moment for yourself to claim your wholeness. So my ladies here, Marzette, Nicole, are y'all ready?
Well, I'm going to put on mute. We're going to put on mute, and we're going to be saying it on our end, because we don't want to echo through your powerful words.
Okay.
But you'll see our lips moving.
I'll see your lips moving. I'm going to provide some pauses just to give them time and you time to be able to say that. But we will get into it now. So let's go, ladies. I am an amazing woman. I am a seed for good things. All the needs and wants I've provided are circling back to me, and I deserve it. I have dreams and goals, and give myself permission to affirm and pursue them. I will make self-care a lifestyle, because my well-being is not optional. I will say, I love you, girl, out loud every day, because I am phenomenal. I will no longer allow the gift of my time to be treated as anyone's entitlement, nor volunteer my energy for things that don't align with my future. I have no more cheeks to turn. I'm focused forward. My sleep has been beautifully disturbed. And now I know that I am a whole woman. And it's time for me to live a whole life. I'm gonna have to back y'all up and let you say that last part again. And now I know that I am a whole woman. And it's time for me to live a whole life. Hey, I hope y'all felt that like I did.
Amen.
I felt that deep.
Amen.
I felt that deep. And
I
I want
felt
all
that.
you queens to
Yes.
live your whole blessed life.
Amen. I am
Amen.
a whole woman. I felt that. Whole, complete.
Thank you. Amen. 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 Thank you. Thank you so much, Duania. And ladies, thank all of you for joining us today for Real Talk for Women of Faith, brought to you by Inner City Women of Faith. Like us and follow us on and share us on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook at Inner City Women of Faith. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Duania. And ladies, we just go forth and walk in the fact that you are a whole woman. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Right, you're a whole
Amen.
woman.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.